Hearing, reading of amended policies, Ms. Feather?
Came up really quick. Yes, so reading of amended policies, we had the A5 Title IX protections from sex-based discrimination and the K6 textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools.
Do we have public comment on those two policies? No public comment? Do we have comments from the public on anything not related to those policies? Okay, no comments from the public. New business discussion and a vote to approve amended policies. 1A5 Title IX protections from sex-based discrimination. 2 K6 textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools. Ms. Feather?
Okay, so we've got these two, both of which passed our subcommittee meeting back in, I don't know, April, something like that. Alrighty. And I know that there's been a lot of discussion around these policies. Let's take the easy one first, the textbooks. That is just restoring, text. What's the word I'm looking for? Textbook privileges, rights, loans to students that are Cumberland residents. That was something that we had in place in the past. There we go. I finally have it in front of me. So that was something that we had in place in the past. We had changed that policy, but it was not. It wasn't the change it needed to be. So we have now gone back to essentially the previous policy, saying that we will loan textbooks. Sorry, I'm very all over the place tonight. Alrighty, so there's that one. So yay, textbooks. The other one is the Title IX policy, and obviously that one I'm, anxious about. So back in 2020, oh wait, should I? Okay, thanks. Back in 2020, we had a policy in place much like the one that is being proposed tonight. When the federal government expanded their definitions around sex-based discrimination, we followed suit and incorporated that into our policy. However, there was a lawsuit in Kentucky recently that, in essence, changed what we're able to include in our policy, specifically changing the wording around sex-based harassment, which needed to be changed to sexual harassment or sex harassment. So we're being required to make those changes to bring this policy back to that language, so that also we do not lose our funding. I want to just state for the record, I'm not a fan of going backwards. I'm not a fan of providing less supports to people who need all the support that they can get. That being said, I would not in good conscience have been able to vote for this as I did in our policy subcommittee meeting if I believed that that is what we were doing. I believe that Cumberland has had a long tradition of being a place of acceptance and tolerance, and I don't believe that that's going to change. So I would like to put both of these actually, so I'll have to do one at a time, right? Mm-hmm. So let's start with the, we'll start with the Title IX because I'm talking about it now, and then we'll go back to the textbook loans. So I would like to put forth the Title IX policy for motion.
Ms. Feather motions to approve the A5 Title IX protections from sex-based discrimination policy. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Smith with discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a difficult policy for many people, and it's divided many people in their personal beliefs. I think the most important thing that we have to look at here is we're obligated to follow federal law, and from there, the state law. And as long as the state law includes all of the federal law, then they can add to it, but we can't take away from it. This is a court ruling that occurred, and it takes the sex discrimination, and it's solely on sex discrimination in Title IX. It takes that back to what it was originally, and the change is, yes, removing the words sex-based discrimination. This isn't to make any one particular group suffer. Rhode Island has an anti-discrimination law in place, and we follow that This is not what is in Title IX. We're not talking about all of the discriminations. We're talking about one particular topic. I do think it's very important that we point that out. There are other discrimination laws. We have other policies in place here that we do to follow federal and state laws, and we continue to do that. And a lot of the items that people wanted or thought were going to be in Title IX are in those other policies. So as much as some people may not like it, other people may want it, it doesn't matter. It's our job and our duty to follow the state and the federal laws, and that's what we're doing in making this adjustment after the court ruling. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any other discussion? I have a motion by Ms. Feather, a second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes 6-0. Do you want to do a motion?
Oops, I just turned it off. Alrighty, so the second would be for, and again, I lost the one. Thank you. K-6 textbook loans to students enrolled in non-public schools. I would make a motion for us to approve that.
I have a motion by Ms. Feather. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Goldstein. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes 6-0.